Hi there, my name is D.G. Valdron. Welcome to my attic, where strange and peculiar little things lurk. Today we're going to talk about Doctor Who fan films. Back in 1984, Doctor Who was cancelled for the first but not the last time. And when it was cancelled, something wonderful happened. The fans started creating their own versions of Doctor Who. Audio adventures, stop motion animation, claymation. Fans started playing the Doctor. Fans started building their own Cybermen and Ice Warriors and Daleks and TARDISes. And they began to create their own stories. And that's absolutely wonderful. Some of them were just brilliant. So today, what we're going to do is start looking at some of these stories. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Doctor Who. We've just had the 60th anniversary. Isn't that great? I can't imagine properties that just drag on for 60 years. But here it is. Here we are. And I guess that's kind of cool. Now, the interesting thing about Doctor Who, compared to other franchises like Star Wars, there's like some visionary guy, like there's George Lucas or Gene Roddenberry, there's Michael Straczynski, who are out there creating this. Even with Lost in Space, there's some guy who really maybe shouldn't have, but he did. Doctor Who's not like that. Doctor Who's like a corporate production. So some guy in the BBC writes a memo, and then there's meetings, and then there's treatments, and it gets massaged by all these bureaucrats. And so here's the interesting thing, really. I mean, all these other franchises, all these other shows are single visionary persons like, Zack frigging Snyder. I don't really hate him. Yeah, really, I do. He's terrible. But anyway, so all these shows, all these productions, they have these visionaries, these individuals. And then the show is really about spaceships and organizations and Captain Kirk or boardrooms and Luke and Leia and all this, to and fro. Doctor Who is fundamentally a corporate product, but it's a corporate product about an individual, about the sort of person that, the George Lucases and the Zack Snyders actually wanted to be themselves. And isn't that odd? When it comes right down to it, what the Doctor really is he's not a conqueror, he's not a tourist, he's not a hero, he's just a traveler. He's some guy or some woman that just shows up someplace. And he intrudes or she intrudes on people's lives, and they just try and help out. People are in trouble, and the Doctor is just there to sort of try and make things easier, to try and stop the bad guys or help the good guys, or just make life a little bit better. And you know what? I think that's kind of wonderful. The Doctor is a character who doesn't have a starship behind him, who doesn't have a Rebel Alliance or a Starfleet. He's not, or she's not there for the great big thing. It's just the Doctor's there to make a little bit of a difference in someone's little world. And I think maybe that's the magic of Doctor Who. That's the charm, that there's just this one person and their friends who is trying to make a difference for people. And they do it not with armies or laser beams or a punch in the face. They're doing it with compassion, with humor, with just being smart, with having a good line. Anyway, so I think that's remarkable and interesting, and I think that's worth talking about. And really, I think what I want to talk about with Doctor Who, especially today, is about the fans. Because the fans make the show. Yeah, the BBC is completely corporate. And you know what? The BBC had no idea what to do with Doctor Who. They've been like thinking about canceling it since forever. When Patrick Troughton was wrapping up, they thought, well, maybe we'll just close it down now. And then after Tom Baker was finishing his run, they didn't see a future for the show. Um, and then when Colin Baker was in, they actually canceled it. They tried to cancel it, and it was the fans that brought it back. And Colin Baker got his extra season, and then we got Sylvester McCoy. And then they canceled it for real again. And they fired Colin Baker. Um, and they really had no idea what the show was or what to do with it. They literally threw away entire seasons. The first 6 seasons were all slated for the dumpster. There's 100 episodes missing. There used to be 200 episodes missing. And it wasn't the BBC that rescued those episodes. It was the fans. It was people who actually stood up and went searching for it, who dug into archives, who wrote letters to the BBC, who, made that effort. And of those 100 missing episodes, a lot of those episodes have been preserved on audio. And again, that was the fans making the difference. The BBC didn't care until, one day they figured they could make some money out of it. They figured they could sell it to Steven Spielberg. They were all for that. But the people who loved the show, they were the ones that were making the difference. When the show was canceled back in 1989, it was the fans, the people that loved the show that kept it going. And it was the people that loved the show who actually made it into the BBC, who actually became writers and filmmakers. They were the ones that brought it back. So I think, really, the BBC may have created Doctor Who, but I think that it's the fans that really own it. And what we want to talk about here are the fan films. Because almost from the start of the show, within a couple of years of it coming out, the minute there were Super 8 movie cameras, fans were trying to make their own Doctor Who. And the first ones were probably not that good. First ones were just kids who had their little home cameras and they were shooting their own little adventures for themselves and their friends. But, fans took it and ran with it. Fans have built their own Daleks. Fans have built their own TARDISes. They've dressed up. They've done the costumes. And after a while, that actually has a critical mass. There's an audience of fans. There's creators among fans. And there's just wonderful production. It's the fans that recreated a lot of the old lost episodes, and fans gave us our first black companion. Fans gave us our first woman doctor. Fans gave us a series of women doctors starting in 1984, long before Jodie Whittaker came along. Fans have actually made their mark. They gave us the first black doctors 20 years before Ncuti Gatwa. The BBC has just kind of been lagging around. It was fans that did the first animations, real animated shorts. Again, well before the BBC got the idea. And it's been fans that have produced a lot of interesting things that have gone overlooked. So in this series, what I want to talk about are groups like Time Base and El Cheapo and Seattle International. I want to talk about people that actually created the first female doctor in Wrath of Ukor, or who created their own Doctor Who version of Pulp Fiction in Trident. I want to talk about the Time Base people who created a phantom series of Doctor Who that was almost completely professional, or DW 2012, which has produced literally an epic body of work. Fans have been out there. We do stop motion animation. We do cell animation. There are shorts and parodies, like The Reign of Turner. There have been people who've created their own stories, like Project 50. And all of this, I think, is beautiful. all of this shows so much talent, so much imagination, so much initiative, so much courage. You look at these people, and yeah, maybe some of it is pretty crap. Maybe a lot of it is pretty crap, but there's also some stuff that is just absolutely amazing. And the thing is, it's being done for love, and I can't think of a better reason to do anything. It's being done with enthusiasm and talent and dedication and hard work, and usually no money to speak of. And sometimes I look at the BBC and how much they spend on a serial in Tom Baker's or Patrick Troughton's time, how much they spend on an episode right now. And I turn around and I look at these kids with, not even the money you get from the seat cushions. They couldn't cover the BBC's catering budget. And they do amazing things. And I think I want to talk about that. I think we need to explore that. We need to explore this world of Doctor Who fan films and Doctor Who audio. It was the fans that pioneered the audio in every possible way. We need to talk about the Doctor Who animations, and we need to talk about the stage plays and all these creative ways that people do remarkable things just right out there on the edges of the BBC. I've written a few books about it. The Pirate Histories of Doctor Who. The first pirate history. I thought it was just going to be a short book, right? Yeah. Once I started researching, it just didn't stop. So that turned into another book, and finally a third book. So we did, the pirate history, and then we did another pirate history, and then suddenly we're at the last pirate history because I just don't want to do any more. But you know what? I want to talk about this. I want to talk about, Phase 4 and, the Wrath of Euchre, and all of these others. I want to talk about shakedown and downtime, and just the possibilities of what people can do with something they love. And I think that is the truest expression of Doctor Who. That it's just people out there making a difference. So, join me on our future travels. I think I will show you things you've never thought about. Maybe I'll get you to think about things in new ways. You might learn a few interesting things along the way.